Mark, Invincible, constantly, always getting his ass beat.
Man, I'm glad he's invincible because he's sure to be taking some ass whoopings.
Almost,
every episode.
You are guaranteed to get an invincible ass whooping every episode. Mm-hmm. Every episode. I cannot, in good conscience, talk about Double Toasted Live in LA without showing that image right there. Double Toasted Live in LA. Oh, y'all. There's nothing like the return of a series that you love to put you in a good mood and make you feel invincible. Yes, just like they do on the show. Yeah. Right there. Yes, people, we are talking about Invincible, but we're talking about Invincible mainly for those who have been keeping up with the show. The show's been on for 2 seasons right now. We just hit the second part of season 2 this week. This will be coming out tomorrow as we speak right now. And I've been talking about this show. We've been talking about this show. And I think, Martin, you agreed with me when I said this is one of the best superhero properties out right now.
Absolutely. This
is based on the book by Robert Kirkman. You'll be seeing an interview I did with this guy on TikTok and also on our YouTube channel. But I love this series right here. I've been very complimentary towards it, saying that this is one of the series or one of the properties, superhero properties that has actually pretty much kept superhero fatigue at bay. Whenever somebody says, I'm tired of these superheroes, I say,
like, hey, watch this.
Check these people out right here.
See how tired you are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. So now, as I said, we are continuing with the second part of season 2. You know, the only thing that makes me nervous with something as great as this, can you maintain? Now, this has a lot of source material to pull from, but, you know, a show and a comic book, they're 2 different things. Liberties are taken, you know, they mix things together, change stuff.
True. And when you go from the source material, there was some storylines where you go, man, I don't know if you should even air this one.
Yeah, yes, definitely. But this has been a bold show. They've been putting it all in there as much as they can. I've been impressed. I've read the comics. I've been impressed with what they've done so far. But like I said, can they maintain? You know, I've already heard some people talking about, look, it's good, but it ain't as good as season 1 or what you did back there. I don't know, you kind of falling off a little bit. How do we feel about that? Do we feel the same way? Let's go ahead and watch this trailer for Invincible, season 2, part 2.
Omnipotence! Tremble before my unlimited power! No.
I love that.
I love that too.
all that hooping and hollering and everything. And he just said, calm your ass down. No, bitch.
Never let anyone ever hurt my family.
This review is mostly for people who've been watching the show, even though I will say something about this series for people who have not seen it before that I think is very important. But if you don't know anything about the show, it deals with this character, Invincible, a teenager named Mark. The show started off innocently enough. It seemed like it was just going to be a coming of age family superhero show. And then shit got real.
it went beyond real.
Oh, yeah.
On the first episode.
His father ended up being a member of this alien race called Voltronites. Is that what they're called?
Viltrumites. Viltrumites.
Racist alien is what they are.
What did you call them? Nazi Kryptonians?
Yeah, Nazi, yeah. I said in one of our reviews, I said they're just Nazi Kryptonians, man. His father ended up just using the family as cover for his real mission, which meant coming to Earth and making pretty much everybody slaves. Even though they say we're doing this for your own good, we'll do it for your own good as long as you listen and don't get out of line. Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to kill you and get you out the way until the rest of you do fall in line. So, you know, Earth is still dealing with their greatest hero, Omni Man, which was Mark's father, turning into a villain, causing massive death and destruction, mainly in Chicago. Is that where it was at the time? Oh, in what is now just a horrifying, infamous subway scene. That scene is actually, y'all wrong for this. That scene is actually a fatality in Mortal Kombat.
Is it really?
Grabbing somebody and holding them in front of a subway.
Oh, come on,
yeah, Omni Man is in, he's in Mortal Kombat now. Y'all wrong for that, but it is pretty cool. So his family, even more so, they're still feeling the effects. Wife Debbie tries to move on after the shock of having her husband say he never loved her, using her for cover.
Yeah, that looked at her as a pet.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they loved her like a dog or a pet. And Mark, meanwhile, Mark is simply he's just trying to live a normal life, as much of a normal life as a superhero can live, who's being called on every day to go to space sometimes to save the planet Earth.
For months.
But yeah. All he wants to do is go to college and have a girlfriend. But
Yeah,
hey,
too bad.
hey, I know you never asked for this, but you got it. Duty calls, get your ass up there. I'm gonna tell you, man, as far as now, every season, you're gonna have some people who are gonna criticize this, and some of these criticisms I agree with, and some of them I don't. But as far as saying that this has fallen off, I highly disagree with that. And I don't know how you feel about it, but I think the storytelling here is so good, especially when it comes to putting these characters in danger. I think it does an amazing job at taking superheroes that seem invulnerable and making them look like they could die at any moment.
Yeah, it does remind you of that. And it ain't just dying, it's dying horribly.
Horribly.
Being ripped apart.
That's one of the reasons why this is so good being a rated R property right here, because you can kill people in horrible ways, superheroes in horrible ways, and that's when this ain't no PG-13 shit when they're gonna fly off into the sunset. And even if they don't die, they're gonna get one hell of an ass whooping.
Yeah.
They're gonna get a raw ass whooping. I mean, you're gonna see the effects. Like, you hardly ever see superheroes come out of a fight with black eyes and bruised lips and bleeding and everything.
Yeah, they just trade punches and go on about their business. But here they show, broken noses, black eyes,
broken limbs.
Yeah, broken or severed limbs.
Yeah. Mark, Invincible, constantly, always getting his ass beat.
Man, I'm glad he's invincible, because he's sure to be taking some ass whoopings.
Almost,
every episode.
You are guaranteed to get an invincible ass whooping every episode. Every episode.
I was like, man, don't you get tired of these ass whoopings after a while? Until he did.
Yeah, he's constantly.
Yeah.
He says, Walter Goggin plays this guy Cecil. He's had the organization that looks over these superheroes, monitors them, and recruits them to protect Earth. And every day, right when this man gets home, boy gets home, gets ready to go to school, or date with his girlfriend. Hey, we need you in space again.
He's like, I just got back. Yeah. So he'll get back up there. Man, I ain't going back up there. Okay, here's what's going on. All right, I'll go.
I know. And it really does exhaust you to see this. But let me just say this, man. So I was saying that I want to tell you a little something about people who have never watched this show before. Because, being that we're in season 2 right now, if you've never seen the show before, it might be too late for you to come in. I would say possibly, maybe, story-wise, but I think the storytelling here is so good, and the fight scenes and violence in this is so intense. That first episode is insanely intense.
Yes, it is.
So you got these characters, the Guardians of the Globe. They're pretty much the Avengers of this world, of the Justice League, Guardians of the Globe, and so in this first episode, for those of you who have been keeping up, they split up. So you have one group fighting these mind-controlling squid creatures from Mars, heading towards Earth in a Martian spacecraft. And then the second half, about 3 leftovers who was told to hang behind. They're fighting a group of lizard-themed villains right here. And the action is so good that even if you don't know anything about these characters, if you know nothing about this story, it is so intense that you can't help but feel like, oh my God, what is happening to these people?
It's shocking on a level that might make you nauseous. Like that scene you got frozen right there. That has stuck with me ever since I watched it.
Yes. If you don't know anything I just said, If you never watched this show before, you know nothing about these characters. I still believe that that first episode is so amazingly intense that it will pull you in no matter what. I don't know, but I have to know what happens to them.
Right.
Please tell me they make it. And meanwhile, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. No. The way this show goes and what happens, you like. Because any other show, you'll be like, all right, somebody's gonna come in, or they're gonna have some kind of technology or time travel.
Yeah.
But if you watch this show enough, you like, nah, they don't do that here.
These lizard people and these squid creatures, they are not around.
Right.
And I was because the lizard people are presented as comical. And even they were like, yeah, you thought we were you thought we were
a joke.
Yeah, we'll show you. And no, they all of them threw down. The lizard people are just formidable foes. The squid creatures, it's just too many of them.
Yeah.
And they're all, I mean, on every level, everybody's being overpowered.
If, you can fight somebody weak, but if there's another of them, no matter how strong you are, they'll pull you down.
Oh yeah,
and there's like a million of those things.
Oh yeah, man. I was just, I mean, it's enough to kind of give up hope, man. You just like, really, can they make it? I don't see how.
There's no way you're gonna watch the first episode of this second half of the second season and go like, I think I'm done.
Yeah, man.
You gonna watch that next episode, I guarantee it.
Yeah, Omni Man's race is coming down. They're talking about taking over the planet, and I love this because they say, listen, by this point you have Omni Man. So just to show you some of the stakes that are had here, in addition to some of the things we just said, now Omni Man's race is coming down and telling poor Mark, they're like, hey, listen, you got to pick up what your father left off. I mean,
we told you that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and we do not want to have to come back down here and tell you again. Otherwise, we'll tear this up if we have to.
I like how, Nissa's just like, I'm trying to be nice. I just want you to remember that I started with reason.
She sure did tell that. There was one of them. She's one of the chicks from the alien planet that's talking to Mark, and she letting them know. Listen, I really did try to, and those fists are constantly balled up. She's like, listen, I'm being reasonable with you. I'm telling you, and here's a cool thing.
She makes good points.
Here's a good thing about this show: the villains sometimes make good points. I'm like, I really cannot argue with her. These, what do they call Viltrumites? Viltrumites. These Viltrumites, they're assholes, and don't get it mixed up. They're fascists, but I was like, damn, she talking some sense right now. I was like, I'm kind of on your side right there.
Yeah, no, the way she presents it, yes. But if you stop and think for a minute, you go like, well, it sounds good, your sales pitch, but the way this is really going to play out is, you guys are fascists. This is not going to work for us.
And they give glimpses as how terrible these people could be. But the power of the show is to make you stop for a moment and be like, well, maybe. But then they show them doing horrible things. That's what really has people coming back. I'm talking about the intense action that we have here. But really what keeps people coming back is the emotional storytelling. Because, that goes even further here. Trauma is a theme that's getting worn out. And I think a lot of people are saying, man, I'm kind of getting tired of seeing that with these, that's your version of being dark for a lot of things. But these characters earn their trauma. Even some of the villains.
There is so much trauma in this show, but they do deal with it.
Yeah, these poor superheroes, man, they experience so much loss that it's nice to see. It's nice to see a show, or a movie, in this case a show, or a story. It's nice to see a story where it's showing them affected by everything that they've experienced and lost. And there are some big losses that are felt here, all around.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I think they do a great job at setting up the closeness with these characters. The bond with these characters. When the trailer started, you heard it was a character called Black Samson, who has no hair, and they make a big point of that. Black Samson talks about how everyone's a family. And families, sometimes they get along and love each other, sometimes they fight. And even with the most annoying characters, you kind of see that with them. So when they have to suffer losses, that's really felt when it happens.
You're not the only one who can make a suit of armor.
You.
I spent weeks on mine.
You had to show me up like that. That's Robot. He's one of the members of Guardians of the Globe who's controlling this robot right here. Because earlier, if you remember, the character was horribly deformed. That's a whole other storyline right there. Talking about trauma here and talking about how intense this was today and how, Martin, I feel bad for you. Went through a lot today watching this, so I'm not going to do any weird segues here. I'm letting you know right now. I have to do a word for my sponsor.
Sure, go
Today
for
is
it.
not the day to mess with you.
Okay.
I can see you shook a little bit over all this violence and trauma and grief. So, Martin, let me just tell you right now that I do have to give a word out to our sponsor, and that is Shopify.
Oh.
What? We thought it was going to be something else?
I thought BetterHelp.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't get that to you today.
Yeah, okay.
No. Shopify, Martin. When you feel down, Martin, go shopping.
Retail therapy.
There you go. Or better yet, don't be a buyer, be a seller, Martin. And so with Shopify, that's exactly what you can do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. The reason why is because, listen, you're gonna want to use Shopify if you open up an online store. And we have a lot of Toasties out there that are prime candidates to do so. Thing with Shopify is that Shopify, it powers 10% of all commerce in the United States, Martin. And Shopify is the global force behind millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries.
Wow.
I didn't say
That's
75,
impressive.
I said 175 countries. And so they'll be with you right there from the launch of your online shop all the way to that, whoa, look at that. We made 1 million orders right there. And Shopify's been there all the way. All the way from your humble beginnings to that millionth order, Shopify is there to help you grow. I've been saying this, I'm going to stick with it. Because somebody's going to do it, whether you're selling cheese or chihuahuas. Maybe a cheesy chihuahua. I don't know if you can buy chihuahuas on Shopify. I don't know that yet, but I know there's a lot of things that you can sell. And a lot of you folks out there, the Toasties, as I said, you're somebody that is a great candidate for doing so. I want to show you something right here. I've been showing you some of the things that our Toasties have been doing. This is a guy named James Hakola right here. He does 3D printed figurines. He used to do sculptures.
Yeah.
To do the old-fashioned way. Anyway, I've been even thinking about starting a Shopify store because he's been wanting to sell these little Toasty figures right here.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Toasty.
Mr. Toasty, but he could sell a lot of his figurines, and I think he might be using Shopify to do that. So if you're a talented person who's making figurines and art and doing all kind of crafts and whatnot, a lot of people sell those things on Shopify. So I encourage you to do so if you're such a creative person that I'm talking about. And they also have Shopify Magic. Everything is going AI now, artificial intelligence, and they have an AI-powered system that makes selling things on Shopify take less effort.
Oh, even better.
It's even better right there. And they have great online support. So as I said, Shopify has you covered. And I got you covered right here too with the help of Shopify. Listen, it takes money to make money. But with Shopify and this code I'm about to give you, it doesn't take that much money. If you use the code shopify.com/toasted, all lowercase, you'll be giving a $1 a month trial period. So I want to thank Shopify for sponsoring this portion of the show. And I want to thank all of you, yes, you out there, for your support. Watching this, what I like about reading the comic is seeing some of the complicated situations that they still bring over into this. Like, I didn't know if they'd had time for it. Like, I love that they, this is a major storyline here. So if you've read the comic, you'll recognize this. But if you haven't read the comic, you already seen the complicated and surprising situation of Mark having a little brother because Omni Man went off to another planet and had sex with a bug woman.
You know what? I love that he had sex with a bug woman, married her. And he's like, you got with her? And he's like, why are you so prejudiced? It's just another alien race like every other one.
Yeah, you're an alien race to somebody else.
Yeah, he's like, well, I guess if you put it that way.
Asshole. Wow, you called me an asshole. I mean, sure, I killed 1,000 people on the subway train, but you're prejudiced. Yeah, I'm glad that they brought that in here, man. A lot of complications from the comics are still brought here. And what's complicated about this is that Debbie, who's the wife of Omni Man, voiced by Sandra Oh, has to adopt Omni Man's son, who, as I said, he had from another species. And, you thought your trifling baby's daddy was bad.
Nolan. Where's Nolan?
The city.
So you got another ass whooping.
Oh, yeah.
Stays in bandages
Stays,
and
yep.
bleeding.
These people, it's all our fault.
We will rebuild, Mark. Count on that.
And that's before she tells him, by the way, you got to take this little bastard. We will rebuild, but still. Again, that's one of the storylines that kind of.
It's a complex situation.
Yeah. No, it really is. This you could call it soap opera, but soap opera is cheap. This is a very complex situation to introduce a character to, even on the level of a comic book alien storyline right here. But it's great writing, I think. As I said, we're not getting as much Omni Man here as we were in the beginning, and a lot of people, we love Omni Man as a villain. As I said, Omni Man is he's in Mortal Kombat. A lot of people are posing the question, which one's worse, Omni Man or Homelander? Trust me, Homelander's much worse because Homelander has no remorse at all.
True.
But
Omni Man's more powerful though.
No, oh yeah, he's more frightening and more powerful. But who's the bigger dick is
yeah.
Homelander.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I like here is that with Omni Man, he's on his way to execution by the Viltrumites. And as I said, this is going to challenge the audience's character right now because he's done these horrible things. Because he's, but the thing is, the show brings up this question. Okay, you can't excuse it, but trying to understand that he's been indoctrinated by an alien race. That's their culture.
Right.
And that's all he knows.
That's all he knows.
So he's committed these atrocities, and now, he's feeling deep remorse and guilt. And it's really going to start to make people think about, morality here.
True. But, typical of audiences, if the character feels bad, then you're like, all right, I'm going to let you off the hook.
Well, like I said, it does bring up the question of you got to blame somebody, hold them accountable for what they've done. But when you've been told this your whole life, and this is what your culture does, it's like, the character's wrong, but how wrong can you say they are, or how they should feel? Which he does. But when they've been raised that's what you do. You conquer.
Yeah.
In his mind, he thinks he's doing the right thing.
Sure.
And it's I like the way that now they're challenging us by saying like, all right, he feels remorse.
Well, he's put into an impossible position because he's a traitor to his people now.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I feel bad about what I did to the Earth is like, don't come here.
Oh, no, don't want to hear that shit. What's that supposed to mean for us?
Yeah.
Like, you stay up there and take the mask, you're getting well-deserved. I still love the character of Cecil. Again, Walter Goggins is the voice. I've always loved his voice as Cecil. And Cecil's just a hard-ass, man.
Yeah.
He's, like I say, he's still sending Mark to space and whatnot, not letting him have a life. Meanwhile, Mark is trying to handle that. I like that is that we have that balance in there. I'm going to talk about this a little further, but do you think that they're doing too much here at this point because there's so much going on now?
There's a lot going on. And with the comic, there's so much going on. I always wonder how that is for them with 10 years of content and knowing you are not likely to get 10 seasons of a show.
Yeah.
And there's so much you want to cover and get to a certain place. Sometimes I wonder if there's a lot going on, but then I also think, you know what? You kind of need some things to distract you from other stuff so you're not rushing through it. Because one thing I did think, Mark brings, his brother back and Debbie does say, all right, I will help and take care of him. And I just thought, look, I know it's a show, people have short attention spans, but I was like, realistically, there would be a longer process before she went, okay, fine. It wouldn't be like within the same conversation.
Boy, she talk about going through a lot. I mean, she went through hell.
Yeah, she did.
This season.
She went through hell even in the first half of the season.
And hell just got deeper.
I know.
I was like, damn, this woman can't
catch a break. I mean, but that seems almost like a recurring theme. Like so much in the beginning is the bloody action and all, and then it calms down. But then it's really showing like, man, just being in Invincible's orbit is a dangerous place to be.
Oh yeah, yeah. He feels bad about that because he's at this point. Invincible's pretty much saying, I can't have a life because I can't bring anybody into my life. You know, he's pretty much having to make some sacrifices right now.
Yeah. It's all the things that go with being a superhero, and why they usually keep their identity secret. Yeah, but he's got too many enemies that know who he is.
I think what's impressive about this for me is that it does balance all these elements that we have here. That we're talking about the emotions, the high stakes, the action, but then you got all this other gonzo crazy shit that goes on, man. I mean, it's the show's insane. It's so many references and jokes and humor and wild characters, and it's extremely violent, as we said. And I'm impressed that they can make all those tones work together as much as they are. So for me, I think the downside is that it is almost too much going on, and I don't think it's to a point where it makes me deeply criticize the show. But I think that there are so many subplots going on, a lot that I haven't even mentioned and don't need to mention because you need to see that for yourself. But there's so many subplots that I haven't mentioned. It's gotten to a point that I forgot some of them that were going on from last season.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like they'll bring something up and I was like, wait a minute, who are you again? I was like, were you here before? You know what I mean? And there's some favorites that I like here. Like I love Alan the alien. He's voiced by Seth Rogen. Shit, he's one of my favorites, and I forgot that he was around.
Right.
Because there's so much going on.
Well, last time we saw him, he looked like he was pretty much dead.
It sure was. But it's just a lot happening. Sometimes it's just so much that I just kind of forget what's going on.
Are you thinking about Angstrom Levy?
That's one, and then there's another character that was brought back that is I don't want to say too much, but it's a character that's he's been through hell too.
Oh yeah.
And I actually completely forgot about that storyline.
Right.
And sometimes I think that the humor is awkwardly placed. So you saw episode 4.
Yeah.
Man, episode 4, there are some really funny references that go on in episode 4. And a lot of it's updated from the comic book because the comic book came out years ago.
Yeah.
Because with this, they're taking an opportunity in episode 4 to poke fun at Marvel, DC, and just make fun of the whole multiverse thing. Yeah. Because they have a character where his thing is pretty much traversing through multiverses. And it's funny. And this is the character, man. Who voices this character? Is that Sterling K. Brown?
Yes, and I think he's amazing in this.
He is great in this, man. That's Sterling K. Brown as his character who's losing his mind.
That character is unhinged. Like he seems like he's on top of things, and then you're like, oh, he's crazy.
Oh, and again, that's another kind of sympathetic character. He's doing some horrible things, but the things that he has seen in several multiverses, it's like, I can see why you lost your goddamn mind.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of mind to lose right there. But Sterling K. Brown is really amazing in that role right there. But but they're doing all these funny jokes and referencing, almost being meta in a way and referencing, the comic book industry right now. But it's happening while some really disturbing violence is going on.
Oh, well, I didn't think the violence, I guess it had kind of got disturbing, but it seemed like the show is always doing this, like, oh, okay, wait, whoa. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It's almost like, oh, you were kind of getting used to it. You getting desensitized, weren't you? I was like laughing, well, what about this? Like, oh, god damn, I forgot you could do that.
For me, and it's only for me, like I said, this is a different people. It might not bother some people out there, and maybe I'm just being sensitive, I don't know. But there's they're doing it while they're going through multiverses and making these multiverses, using it almost as a way to make jokes. But then, I don't mind when they like go from scene like, okay, here's a really serious scene, and then we go to this this funny scene right here. But they are quickly going back and forth. And what disturbed me about it is like there's violence against babies in that part, and I was just like, man, we cut from this one. This is a 10-second joke, and then we cut to something disturbing, and then we cut back to a joke again, and the balance just didn't feel right for me. It's like, I want to laugh at this, but I'm really disturbed by a lot of stuff that's happening. But I will tell you, if I am disturbed, it's because of the acting in this. It's not because of Sterling K. Brown. Man, this is, okay, we're not talking about Disney or Pixar animation. We are talking about, it's great animation, but it's still it's still a little limited compared to what we see with like Disney and all that.
Yeah, and they make a point of that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about.
And I was like, I think you guys have been firing on cylinders. This is a little corny for me. You could have lost this part.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Sometimes it just feels a little uneven. But man, I tell you, the acting in this for the kind of animation that they have, they do a really good job with the acting in here, and it's because it's still limited animation compared to what Disney does. With the limitations that they have, they've done an excellent job.
I almost say that the animators can't quite keep up with the voice actors.
Yeah,
because there are times they're delivering like really intense emotions, and the artwork. It's close, but I was like, that's not quite like this guy's giving you more than what you're putting on the screen.
Yeah. And again, that joke makes a reference to that.
Yeah.
Even with that complaint, you probably could tell by my glowing compliments that I've been giving this, that, this still continues to be one of the best superhero properties that's out there, with way more sophisticated storytelling than we see in many superhero movies and TV shows. So this is still a full price for me. I mean, I'm still enjoying this. I watch these with ease, and they go by very fast because there's so much going on, and it's all done well.
Yeah, all done well. I think it's still a full price. I do feel like it didn't end as strongly as the other, like certainly not as strongly as the first half of this, it'd take a lot to end as strongly as the first season did.
Oh yeah.
But, it's still enough to want to stick around. And there's so many more storylines going on. Probably the thing that surprised me, that I was more impressed with, was the way they handled the relationship between Mark and Amber. Because that always felt like a weaker point.
It's his girlfriend.
Yeah, his girlfriend. And I always felt like a weaker point. And with the season 1, it was just like, God, what are you doing, man? Man, drop this girl.
Yeah.
But with this season, they kind of in the first half, they made her more reasonable. And then with this going on, you see their difficulties and that feeling of like, man, you giving this the best shot you could. But
talking about their relationship.
Yeah, their relationship.
See, while you have all these things going on with these characters and you're fearing for their lives, you also have Mark trying to balance out his life with his girlfriend. And it's just, that's another thing that's just kind of intense. It's like, man, this is just not working. And I wanted to work with them.
Yeah. You see it, you like, you know what, I reached a point where I like these people. I actually want them to, okay, it's just not going to.
Sorry. So, if you've been a fan, there's no reason why you shouldn't keep watching. And man, if you haven't, stop looking like this, and go watch it. Stop sticking up and looking at us. Go watch this right now. Get caught up, because the longer you wait, the more you have to get caught up with. And it really is a great show. I've been loving it so far. I'm at a point where I've only read about half the comics, so now we're going to begin to a point where I don't know what's happening, and I'm looking forward to that.
I only wish, as I watch this, I wish I hadn't read them, because with some things that are big surprises, I was like, I already knew about this.
See, now that's the point where I'm getting. It's like, all right, I'm glad I didn't read the rest.
Yeah.
Well, you made it to the end of the video. That must mean you really like what we do. So if you do, check out these other videos just like this one. Check out our other YouTube channels and subscribe to join our wonderful Toasty community. And as always, stay toasty.